This next tool I'm going to teach you is a proprietary coaching model that we teach at Integrative Wellness Academy. And this is the inside out, outside in approach. So when I was talking about when I started coaching back in the day, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, and I was talking about how a client may have come to me to lose, 10 pounds, and they made some progress just through behavior modification, but then they had those backslides. Well, that is a perfect example of outside coaching, outside in. So that's behavior modification, that's coming up with effective action plans, and that's giving your clients support. So that's the outside approach. That's how traditional life coaching is. It supports outside behavior change. As we also talked about earlier, that just behavior modification, just that outside in approach by itself definitely doesn't help when that outside problem is connected to a core issue. And that core issue could be a limiting belief. It could be a negative emotion or a trauma. It can be beliefs that keep us locked into a negative holding pattern or creating negative results. So when we have a core issue, that outside just behavior modification coaching style is actually not going to create sustainable positive change. Again, you might get a little bit of change and then backslide, and a little bit of change and backslide, but it will not create sustainable positive change. So the inside out approach, this is a lot of what traditional therapy is. It's working on the inside. It's trying to resolve those core issues, but also without the outside approach of behavior modification, you also don't see the results. Let's take the example of someone who emotionally eats. So the outside problem that has manifested might be obesity and some other health problems. And the core issue for that person might be feeling loneliness and sadness. That binge eating is specifically the way that they fill that, they make themselves feel better. Can you imagine if we just took away that security blanket without also resolving the core issue? That wouldn't be effective. And at the same time, if we were to help resolve the core issue of that sadness, that loneliness, whatever that core issue is, but then never change the eating behavior on the outside, that also wouldn't be effective. So what we do through our integrative life coaching certification course is we teach the proprietary inside out, outside in model. And that's where we both coach outside in behavior modification, as well as coaching to resolve the core issues, that inside out. And we do that simultaneously so that a client can achieve lasting positive change. So that is the inside out, outside in model. A little sneak peek at that. And then the next tool that I want to talk about, this directly applies to you. I don't know where each of you are in your process of pursuing a career in life coaching. Some of you may already have started that process. Some of you might just be considering it. But I want to talk about niching, your niche. This is the what behind the drive of your coaching practice.
It's important to clarify what you're passionate about, what your purpose is in business, and what niche or who you want to be serving. This is the type of ideal client that you might have, or the specific type of group of people you want to serve.
And there are many successful coaches that are generalist coaches. And that means that they do life coaching and they take clients with all different types of issues from all different walks of life. What a niche is specifically is a specific population or demographic of clients. And that might be people who are new moms, or people who are specifically struggling with weight issues, or people who are making career transitions. One of the beautiful things about developing a niche is you get really, really clear about who you work with and what you help them with. And it makes it very easy to communicate that to a potential client. So when you're considering a career in life coaching, I do recommend that you give some thought to developing a niche. Developing a niche. And this doesn't mean that you have to stay with that niche forever. You can always shift your focus. One of the things about careers and life coaching is that they are more fluid than that traditional trajectory where you go to school, you get, this degree, and then you move into this job and there you stay. With life coaching, you can really begin your career and see who you're most passionate about working with, what brings you the most amount of joy, and also where you're personally successful. Because I think that the struggles that each one of us have gone through in our life, and let's face it, we all have our own struggles and our own challenges. And yours may have really been in the area of relationships or career or finances or health. And that makes you an even better coach, not because you're telling your clients what to do, because they're not you and their process is going to be completely different, but because you have personal experience in walking out that journey yourself. So when we're thinking about our niche, a great question to ask ourselves is, what am I most passionate about? And another one is, what do I personally have experience in? What area have I maybe overcome a huge challenge that I would really be passionate about supporting other people in overcoming that same exact challenge? So that is something that is important to consider as you're developing your career. Earlier, when we first started, I talked about doing an exercise that was going to help clarify what your values are in the area of career. So we're going to dive into that. You're going to need a pen and a paper. So go ahead and grab that. And with this exercise, what you want to do is you want to write down the first things that pop into your mind. Don't overthink it too much. And also, don't write out full sentences. Think of writing a grocery list. So it's like eggs, milk, cheese, very succinct bullet points. And we're going to create a few lists here. So as we do this, again, don't judge yourself, don't overthink it. You can always change your answers later, but this is going to help clarify what you value in the area of career. So I'm going to ask a few questions. I'm going to ask them the same question really a few different ways. And each time I ask this question, just write down everything that comes to mind. It might be one thing, it might be 10 things. Whatever comes to mind is fine. So the question is, what is important for you to have, do, or experience in the area of career? Go ahead and write that down. What is important for you to have, do, or experience in the area of career? So I'm going to give you guys just a minute on that. Again, writing down anything that comes to mind. And once you've written everything down, I'm going to ask you again in a different way. What do you want to have, do, or experience in the area of career? What else is important for you to have, do, or experience in the area of career? So additional things might come to mind. If so, write those down. If not, that's fine too. We'll give it a couple more seconds here. I know some of you are still writing. And one more time, what do you want to experience in the area of career? Taking a look at everything that you've written down already. If you had or achieved every single one of those, what else would it be important for you to experience in the area of career? So go ahead and write down anything else that pops into mind. And we'll give it just a few more seconds. Okay, now what I want you to do is to take a look at everything that you wrote down. It might be 2 things, it might be 20 things. Again, however many things that you wrote down, totally fine. And what I want you to do now is I want you to take a number and put that number next to each thing. We're going to rate them in the order of importance. So for example, you're going to put a number 1 next to the most important thing that you value, a number 2 next to the second most important thing, and so on and so on. And remember, you get to have them all. Let's say you get to have all of these. We're just putting them in order of importance. So go ahead and put a number ranking each one in order of importance. So we'll take a second to do that, or a few seconds to do that. So once you have ordered your list, I want you to take a look at your top 5 values in the area of career. And it's important that as you determine if you want to pursue a career in life coaching, that it's aligned with your personal values. And I want to talk about that. We sometimes make decisions, especially in the area of career, that aren't aligned with our values, but it's what we think is the right thing to do. It's what we think is success. It's what our family or our community has defined as a value, but it might not be our own value. It's really important that when we make career decisions, that we consider our career values. I don't know if you guys can actually see it. Well, it's above me up in the corner, but I actually keep my career values. I have them framed and right up there, so that every time I make a decision in the area of career, I can take a look at my values and make sure that the choices that I'm making and the actions that I'm taking are aligned with those values. Because when we make choices that are not aligned with those values, what happens is it's a conflict. And so we actually are working against ourselves, and what happens is usually it crashes and burns, and we're not able to achieve it because we're working against what we truly want and are aligned with. So for example, if on your list something like stability is a very high value, or if something like freedom, purpose, success, because again, you have these words on your list, but you have your own definition behind what those mean. So you're taking a look at those values and making sure that that's aligned with a career in life coaching.